Hello everyone. Now, in the last session of satellite communication and networking, we have started our unit 4, that is radio wave propagation. Now, in today's session, we are going to discuss with again two topics, that is on the rain attenuation, that is losses due to rain. So, the topics to be covered in the following session are the rain attenuation and other propagation impairments, means other losses occurs during the transmission. Now, first of all, what does the rain attenuation means? So, rain attenuation is a function of rain rate. By rain rate, it means the rate at which the rainwater would accumulate in a rain gauge situated at the ground in the region of interest. That means at an example of earth station. So, due to this, what will happen that whenever we are transmitting the signal into from the earth station, what will happen that due to rain there will be some losses in the signals, and for this the power loss will be occur. So, the rain attenuation, that will be a function of rain rate. That means how much rain is right now falling, or throughout the year how much rain was there. In calculation relating to radio wave attenuation, the rain rate is measured in millimeters per hour. Now, as you have seen that there is a measurement of rain in millimeters and in inches, right? So, due to this range, how much radio wave attenuation is occurred, that will be calculated using rain attenuation. Of interest is the percentage of time that specified values are exceeded. The time percentage is used that of a year. For example, a rain rate of 0.001% means that the rain rate would be exceeded for 0.001% of a year, or about 5.3 minutes during any one year. Right? So, 0.001%, that shows that how much rain has been increased from the previous year. Right? And in time it can be shown as 5.3 minutes. In this case, the rain rate would be denoted by R, and in suffix that will be 0.001. Right? In general, the percentage time is denoted by P and the rain rate is denoted by RP. So, the specific attenuation, which is denoted by alpha, is given by alpha is equal to A R raised to B dB per kilometer. R, that is nothing but rain rate, which is RP, right? And A and B are the dependent on the frequency and polarization. Now, these A and B have the different values depending on which type of polarization, either it is horizontal or vertical, which we will discuss in the next chapter. Right? So, depend on the polarization and frequency, the values of A and B have been decided, and it has been given in the table in the reference book. Right? Once the specific attenuation is found, the total attenuation is determined as A is equal to alpha L, where alpha, that is called as specific attenuation, and A, that is the total attenuation, and L is the effective length, and we will get the answer in dB, where L is the effective path length of a signal through the rain. Because the rain density is unlikely to be uniform over the actual path length, and effective path length must be used rather than actual length. Right? Now, as we have seen that rain is falling from the sky, so it is not actually exactly vertical falling. Right? So, due to this, the effective path length will also change, and we can see the we cannot calculate actual path length, but in place of actual path length, what we can calculate is effective path length. Right? Now, in this figure, you can see we need to calculate path length through length, which is LS. So, LS, that is the slant height, right, from the earth surface. LG, that is the ground length, right? This is HO, that is height of the object from the mean sea level, right? This is HR, that is height of a rain, right? And here's the slant height will form an elevation angle EL with respect to the tangential to this earth surface, right? Now depending on this figure we will calculate this, the derivation. Now the geometry or the slant path length is shown by LS. This depends on the antenna angle of elevation delta and antenna height RH, which is a height at freezing occurs, right? So whenever there will be this is the layer in the atmosphere where it is a layer of ice, and from that ice formed it will be having a rain, right? So wherever there will be a layer of ice starting from this to ground line, that is called as rain height, right? And from starting from mean sea level to earth, that is your height of object. For small elevation angles, which is EL less than 10 degree, the determination of LS, that is slant length, is complicated by the earth curvature. So as there is a curvature in the earth surface, so for the elevation angle less than 90, this determination cannot be possible, or it is a complicated, right? But for EL greater than 10 degree at flat, earth approximation may be used, and from figure it is seen that LS is equal to HR minus H0 divided by sine EL. Now as you can see in this figure, so this LS that is equal to in EL, that will be having a n from in terms of adjacent sine form, we will have an HR minus H0 from starting from this, right? LS is still here, right? So HR minus H0 divided by sine of elevation angle, that is given with the help of LS. Right? Now, similarly, the effective path length is given in terms of slant height by L is equal to LS into RP, where RP is the reduction factor. Clear? Where RP is the reduction factor, which is a function of percentage time P and LG, that is ground length. The horizontal projection of LS from figure, the horizontal projection, that is nothing but LG is equal to LS into cos function of elevation angle. With all these factors together into a one equation, the rain attenuation in decibels is given by AP, that is total attenuation, is equal to alpha RP, right? P, where that is RP, that is the rain rate. A and B are the constants, depends on frequency and polarization, and in place of L we have replaced LS into RP. So here we will get the total attenuation due to rain, right? So this is the equation for the total attenuation, total rain attenuation. Done? So this is the very important theory from the exam point of view. Now going towards the next topic, that is other propagation impairments. So hail, ice and snow have little effect on attenuation because of low water content. Ice can cause depolarization, right? So due to this also hail, ice and snow, there will be also attenuation in the signals, but it will have a little effect. And ice also can cause depolarization, which we will see in the chapter 5. The attenuation resulting from clouds can be calculated as that for rain, although the attenuation is generally much less. So if we want to calculate the attenuation resulted from clouds, we can use the same equation which we have derived in the rain attenuation, right? But it is, the value will be very less. For example, at a frequency of 10 GHz, a water content of 0.25 gram per cubic centimeter and the specific attenuation is about 0.05 dB and about 0.2 dB per kilometer for a water content of 2.5 gram per cubic centimeter, right? So this the value of cloud attenuation depends on the same way rain attenuation, but it is very small, right? So here we have completed our unit 4, that was the radio wave propagation. And in this, in the last session we have studied about the two types of losses, that is atmospheric losses and ionospheric losses. And in this session we have studied about the rain attenuation, that is attenuation due to rain, and what are the other propagations losses occurs while transmitting the radio waves, right? So that's all for today's session. In the next session we are going to start with our new unit. So thank you.